lambs, no albumin or yellow yolk slobber. He knew it could be a two-legged varmint, but hard as times were, Jacob had never known anyone in Goshen Cove to steal, especially Hartley, the poorest of them all. Besides, who would take only 2 or 3 eggs when there were 24 more to be had? The bantam's eggs, at that, which were smaller than the ones under the Rhode Island Reds and Leghorns. From the barn, Jacob heard the Guernsey lowing insistently. He knew she already waited beside the milk stool. As Jacob came out of the hen house, he saw the Hartleys coming down the skid trail. They made the 4-mile trek to Boone twice a week, each, even the child burdened down with galax leaves. Jacob watched as they stepped onto the road, puffs of gray dust rising around their bare feet. Hartley carried 4 burlap pokes stuffed with galax. His wife carried 2 and the child 1. With their ragged clothes hanging loose on bony frames, they looked like scarecrows en route to another cornfield, their possessions in tow. The hound trailed them, gaunt as the people it followed. The galax leaves were the closest thing to a crop Hartley could muster, for his land was all rock and slant. You couldn't grow a toenail on Hartley's land, Bascom Lindsay had once said. That hadn't been a problem as long as the sawmill was running, but when it shut down, the Hartleys had only one old swayback milk cow to sustain them, that and the galax, which earned a few nickels of barter at Mast's general store. Jacob knew from the Sunday newspapers he bought that times were rough everywhere. Rich folks in New York had lost all their money and jumped out of buildings. Men rode boxcars town to town begging for work, but it was hard to believe any of them had less than Hartley and his family. When Hartley saw Jacob, he nodded, but did not slow his pace. They were neither friends nor enemies, neighbors only in the sense that Jacob and Edna were the closest folks down the cove, though closest meant a half-mile. Hartley had come from Swain County 8 years ago to work at the sawmill. The child had been a baby then, the wife seemingly decades younger than the cronish woman who walked beside the daughter. They would have passed without further acknowledgment except Edna came out on the porch. "That hound of yours," she said to Hartley, "is it a egg sucker?" Maybe she wasn't trying to be accusatory, but the words sounded so. Hartley stopped in the road and turned toward the porch. Another man would have set the pokes down, but Hartley did not. He held them as if calculating their heft. "What's the why of you asking that?" he said. The words were spoken in a tone that was neither angry nor defensive. It struck Jacob that even the man's voice had been worn down to a bare-boned flatness. "Something's got in our hen house and stole some," Edna said. "Just the eggs, so it ain't a fox nor weasel." "So you reckon my dog?" Edna did not speak, and Hartley set the pokes down. He pulled a Barlow knife from his tattered overalls. He softly called the hound, and it sidled up to him. Hartley got down on one knee, closed his left hand on the scruff of the dog's neck as he settled the blade against its throat. The daughter and wife stood perfectly still, their faces blank as bread dough. "I don't think it's your dog that's stealing the eggs," Jacob said. "But you don't know for sure. It could be," Hartley said, the hound raising its head as Hartley's index finger rubbed the base of its skull. Before Jacob could reply, the blade whisked across the hound's windpipe. The dog didn't cry out or snarl. It merely sagged in Hartley's grip. Blood darkened the road. "You'll know for sure now," Hartley said as he stood up. He lifted the dog by the scruff.